You're going along at crazy speed as you lose control of your car and roll a few times before slamming into the barrier, only to incur a few minor scratches and dents in the bodywork and be able to get back on your way again. This is commonly known as simulation damage in a lot of racing games nowadays, but it very clearly isn't much of a simulation. The technology to provide a realistic damage model is there and has been for quite some time. So here's why so many racing games still use such unrealistic damage models. First of all, it is important to recognise that even if you're not some child laughing at the idea of seeing your car getting destroyed, there is still something satisfying about having that level of realism. As frustrating as it can be to have a crash and wreck your car during a race, it is just the consequence of crashing. After all, it's motor racing, and you can guarantee it must be at least 10 times more frustrating to crash in real life. So having the option to enable realistic damage would surely be the perfect way to offer a glimpse of immersion to those who want it. But obviously, not many racing games really have that option, as I wouldn't be making this video if they did. But as much as I'm sure many of these racing game developers would love to add the true simulation damage model we all want, which would help them sell more copies of their games, in most cases they simply can't. When they get the licenses from manufacturers to feature their cars in the games, the manufacturer will often have a bunch of criteria about what they do and don't want to be depicted being done to their cars in the game. Like Ferrari tend not to be happy having body kits put on their cars in games, and Rolls-Royce allegedly don't want their cars to be seen getting covered with dirt, which is said to be one of the reasons why they don't feature in racing games anymore. With damage, it is no different, as featuring in a racing game is all about advertising from the manufacturer's point of view. So having their cars seen to be getting destroyed would be classified as bad advertising for a lot of brands. While not all brands really care too much about it, it's the fact that some do. What most game developers don't want is to end up in a situation where you have different cars in the same game, where some can get utterly totaled while others sustain no more than a few scrapes and dents. This is the situation you have in Project Cars 2, and it is a little weird visually if you ever have a crash with two cars where only one of them sustains proper damage. In racing games that only feature race cars, like Assetto Corsa Competizione or an F1 game, they often will feature a higher level of damage on all the cars, which is likely because these race cars often get seen being damaged in real life by the nature of racing, so it hardly makes a lot of difference to have some degree of destruction depicted on the cars in the game. And then the reason why games such as Wreckfest and BeamNG get away with having such extreme damage on all cars is because none of the cars in those games are officially licensed models of real cars, so they don't have to abide by any rules of any manufacturers. The other reason that restricts most racing game developers from implementing highly realistic damage is the age ratings, because if the depiction of damage is too accurate, it could potentially cause age restrictions to have to be put in place, which you'll notice both Wreckfest and BeamNG have. Although with Wreckfest it's probably more down to the depiction of what happens to your character when you crash. But as most developers want to reach the widest audiences possible, it wouldn't help them if an age rating prevented all kids from being able to play their games. So ultimately, as nice as it would be to experience what it's like to drive like a lunatic while only being a small mistake away from disaster, with all the licensing and age restrictions nowadays, it is unlikely we'll ever get that experience in any of our favourite racing games anytime soon. And with that, thanks for watching, be safe and don't try to experience simulation damage in real life. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.